Hi, I'm Reagan, and I'll be presenting a social psychological solution to a surprisingly common societal problem: people not returning their shopping carts. While this may seem minor, it actually highlights key psychological forces that influence our everyday behavior, and I'll show you how we can use those forces to help solve it. Not returning a shopping cart might not seem like a big deal, but it causes real issues: blocked parking spaces, damaged cars, and wasted time for employees and customers. What makes this a social dilemma is that there's no direct punishment for not returning your cart. It's convenient in the moment to just leave it, even if it makes things more difficult for everyone else. Chapter 12 explains how these dilemmas arise when individual self-interest conflicts with the common good, especially when there's no clear accountability. To design a good solution, it helps to understand the psychology behind the problem. Most people who don't return their carts aren't trying to be rude. They're just rushed, distracted, or rationalizing the behavior. They may think, it's not hurting anyone, or an employee will get it anyway. Psychologically, this reflects diffusion of responsibility, where people assume someone else will handle it, and a low perceived personal cost, since leaving the cart has no legal consequence. By recognizing these mental shortcuts, we can design smarter strategies that raise personal accountability without being confrontational. One powerful way to shift behavior is by making social norms more visible. A descriptive norm tells people what most others do. For example, 9 out of 10 shoppers return their carts. An injunctive norm appeals to what people believe is the right thing to do, like being a considerate shopper means returning your cart. According to Chapter 7, people tend to conform when they think a behavior is both common and approved of by others. Another tactic is to trigger self-awareness. Research in Chapter 3 shows that even subtle visual cues like a pair of cartoon eyes can make people feel watched, increasing the chance they'll follow social norms. This is because feeling observed boosts impression management. We want to be seen as good, responsible people. That little reminder can make a big difference. We can also encourage good behavior by reinforcing a positive identity. Imagine someone returns their cart and gets handed a sticker that says, "I return my cart." It's a simple gesture, but it taps into powerful psychological mechanisms. Chapter 3's self-perception theory tells us that people learn who they are by watching their own actions. So, when someone wears a sticker like this, they're more likely to think, "I must be the kind of person who returns my cart." This also creates consistency pressure. According to Chapter 6, cognitive dissonance arises when people act in a way that contradicts their self-image. So later on, if they think about leaving a cart out, the discomfort from being inconsistent with their cart returner identity can motivate them to stay true to it. And like an "I voted" sticker, it also acts as a social signal, making the norm more visible and encouraging others to join in. Another way we can encourage long-term change is by creating opportunities for public commitment. Research from Chapter 6 shows that the people strive for consistency between their past commitments and their future actions, especially if that commitment is made publicly. So what if stores had a cart return pledge wall, where shoppers could quickly sign their name or tap a button saying, "I return my cart"? It's quick, low pressure, and reinforces a public identity around responsible behavior. Just like putting a campaign sign in your yard makes you more likely to vote, making a public statement makes people want to live up to it, again and again. It's not about guilt, it's about giving people a chance to say, "This is who I am." You may have seen the viral YouTube channel Cart Narcs, where people confront shoppers who don't return their carts. It grabs attention, but public shaming often backfires. People get defensive and it creates hostility. Psychology tells us that positive nudges work better than confrontation. In fact, some grocery stores have already tried solutions like coin deposits, return rewards, or even small thank you messages. And those strategies lead to better results because they activate internal motivation, not just fear of judgment. So, our sticker and signage ideas are part of a more gentle, evidence-based approach that fits with the research we've learned in class. So here's our 4-part fix. Make social norms more visible, add subtle accountability cues, frame it as identity-based behavior, and use public commitment for lasting impact. Each of these taps into core psychological principles we've studied, and together they nudge people toward better behavior without needing rules or punishment. This solution is grounded in key concepts from our course: conformity and social norms from Chapter 7, self-awareness and impression management from Chapter 3, self-perception and cognitive dissonance from Chapters 3 and 6, and social dilemmas in groups from Chapter 12. It's a perfect example of how psychology can solve small but meaningful everyday problems. In the end, getting people to return their carts might seem like a small issue, but it's really a chance to apply psychology for good. With just a few subtle changes based on human behavior, we can make public spaces more cooperative, respectful, and efficient. So next time you shop, return your cart, and remember how much of a difference psychology can make.